certainly born with it in spades.
But it must be said, I think, that he was also very lonely in his soul.
The sort of exterior that people know about. He had an insecure, often very sad guy.
When I dance, I look like this.
To millions around the world, Matthew Perry was a friend.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
The lovable Chandler Bing.
I'm not great at the advice. Can I interest you in a sarcastic comment?
But to his mom, Suzanne, stepfather Keith, and sisters Caitlin, Emily, and Madeline Morrison, he was Manu, still that boy from Ottawa, whose favorite audience was his family.
It was always like a jubilant thing when he would come over.
But their laughter was often coupled with heartache as they watched Matthew battle addiction, a decades-long struggle he opened up about in his 2022 memoir.
I was spending most of my time figuring out how to get 55 vitamin a day.
I'm very lucky woman, but there was one glitch, there was one problem that I couldn't conquer it. I couldn't help him.
Matthew's family is now looking to help others struggling, launching the Matthew Perry Foundation of Canada.
If it doesn't stop, we're going to lose so many million people.
Caitlin is the executive director.
Even when he was struggling in dark times, we were always proud of him. We were always proud of the fact that he kept fighting and that he made it a big focus of his life to help other people.
It's clearly the work of your heart and for him.
What he taught the world is that no amount of money will cure an addict. It needs something else, and that's what we're trying to do.
Suzanne, you wrote that you miss him with every breath that you take.
I do. But the one thing I have to learn very hard to do, and that's one of the reasons why I want to support Katie however I can, is you've got to stop blaming yourself, because it tears you up.
It was 1 year ago when Suzanne and Keith got the call no parent wants to receive.
Somebody called Suzanne, and he just said, Matthew's dead. And
Matthew's dead. Your son is dead.
Before his death, Matthew had been receiving ketamine infusions, a treatment for anxiety and depression that authorities say turned into an addiction.
He went through a period, interestingly enough, just before he died, when he was showing me one of his new houses. He came up to me and he said, I love you so much, and I'm so happy to be with you now. And it was almost as though it was a premonition or something. I didn't think about it at the time, but I thought, how long has it been since we've had a conversation like that? It's been years.
You got to have that moment of
I think
healing.
There was an inevitability to what was going to happen next to him. And he felt it very strongly. But he said, I'm not frightened anymore. And it worried me.
Did you think there was some no?
I think it was this new medication that he was on.
we didn't know how much of it he was taking.
When he passed, did you think he's sober? He's still on his path?
It appeared to us as if he was. Not to you? It certainly seemed like it to me, that he was, though he had been treated with ketamine, that it hadn't turned into something that he couldn't control. Although, he was a guy who would make decisions. I can handle this, I can do this, I can tell you what's right, I know the whole system inside and out, I know what the drug would do to me. And so there was that worry that what's he really doing?
He had done the book tour, and he seemed to be confidently on the other side. I don't even know if in his mind he had relapsed. That's interesting.
I don't think he did.
He didn't.
5 people have been charged in connection with Matthew's death. 3 have pleaded guilty. 2 others not guilty and will face trial next year.
What do you think about the fact that there has been some accountability there?
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
What I'm hoping, and I think the agencies that got involved in this are hoping, that people who have put themselves in the business of supplying people with the drugs that will kill them, that they are now on notice. It doesn't matter what your professional credentials are, you're going down, baby.
He wrote about having a couple of pretty profound experiences with God. I wonder if you ever let yourself imagine that maybe that's the place or the company he's in now.
I don't think there's a single person in this room who doesn't talk to him. And you know, we stopped and saw the most beautiful sky you've ever seen in your life.
We saw
last
the
night.
Northern Lights last night.
The Northern Lights, I mean, you can feel divinity in that moment.
Yet other moments, a heartbreaking reminder of their loss.
Even now, something funny will happen. I'll see something funny or something ridiculous on the news or whatever. I go to call him. I have more freedom of a relationship with him now than I ever did. And then it hits me so hard that he's not there.
You go to the cemetery once in a while,
I
she'll
thi-
sit there and have a chat with him for a while.
What do you miss most about him, Madeline?
Everything. Our little jokes that we had, him like give me a squeeze, kind of, yeah. He was just always there.
What about you?
What do I miss?
Yeah.
I mean, my brother. He was sorry. Like, he was grumpy all the time, but he was funny all the time. And when the people that he loved succeeded, or were scared, he would do anything. Really, all he ever wanted was to love and to be loved. He struggled so much to feel peace. And I think he got to a place where he did.
Is there anything that gives you comfort now? Not that grief ever goes away, because it just doesn't.
I don't think grief ever goes away. I have found a huge amount of meaning in thinking about the fact that this isn't our tragedy. This happens to people every day.
Nothing special about us, except for the fact that we had an extremely remarkable and famous family member who went through it. And people notice, and people come up to us all the time and say, sorry for your loss. Well, millions of people have had that loss, and we're very aware of that. And that this is not about us. It's about those millions of people. It's a world. It's a hurting world, and it needs some help.
I was going to say tomorrow we're going to do a much deeper dive into the work that they're doing now, because it's really important. It means so much to him. In the end, I think it was his purpose. But that family has so much love. I mean, if you read his book, he adored his family, his little sisters and brother, and it just breaks your heart.
Well, they were so profound when the mom says, you have to realize there was nothing that I could have done, but the guilt was so apparent. And Keith had so many beautiful things.
Well, it's just, you can see the struggle, and there's not a family that's ever dealt with addiction that doesn't understand that. Why can't I fix this, especially as a mom, and going through that. And I want to just say that, Keith, who of course is our colleague from Dateline and our good friend, he said to me afterwards, he said, Matthew was so open about everything. And if you've read his memoir, he's open about everything. He said it enables us now to speak freely and to share some of this and to make that part of the work. They would never have sat here and told all of these stories if Matthew hadn't himself, and he wanted to tell his story because he knew it would help others. And in the end, that's all he really wanted to do or be known for.
That was a beautiful conversation, by the way.
Well, they're just the loveliest family. We have much more. We're also going to talk to a couple of his close friends, these two buddies he grew up with, lifelong friends. They also are the source of the Chandler intonation. Could it be any more of this or that? Anyway, they're also involved with Matthew Perry's foundation. So we have a lot more about the Matthew Perry Foundation of Canada on our website, today.com.